Hi, welcome to this video, Dave, which is on the 6th of April. It is a Wednesday and it's 9 a.m. GMT. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a potential opportunity in the US dollar against the Swedish krona, so USD, SEK. We'll go over to the charts in just a moment. Now, in terms of the USD, we do have the Fed minutes today. We think they could give the USD a potential push to the upside. Recently, the Swedish krona has had good news in terms of many traders thinking that the Swedish central bank will raise interest rates aggressively going forward. I think that good news is in the price, and the Swedish krona is vulnerable to a sell-off. Now, what we're going to do is go and take a look at the opportunity, but just before we do so, please do keep in mind it is my view as of right now. It could, of course, change in line with market action and conditions. If you want to learn all our trading techniques, check out our strategy and also our daily technical sentiment analysis of 14 FX pairs. All you need to do, click on the link beneath this video and get live access to our member center. You can also follow us on Facebook, join our Facebook group of traders if you wish, and also check out our recommended regulated broker. Right, what we're going to do now is go and take a look at the charts. Just before we look at the technical levels of USD SEK, I just want to go through some charts here very quickly. In the background, what's happening in Sweden, which makes us bearish of the SEK. And my first chart is to do with interest rate perceptions. Okay, now the market is seeing Swedish interest rates rising aggressively. You can see it's the red line into 2024 early, then flattening out. Now, before last week, the market wasn't seeing any rate hikes really before 2024. The Riksbank were very dovish. They've now come in and said with high inflation, they've got to look at interest rate rises. The market is looking for rises as early as next month. Now, in terms of USD perceptions, they've been the same for a while. But if you look at the two lines, the US interest rate is seen as dropping below Sweden's going forward. That, for us, is not going to happen. I don't think Sweden will be able to raise rates aggressively. They've said it's dependent on the data, and the data is not particularly good. Now, in terms of data, I've got Swedish GDP against consumer confidence. When consumer confidence falls, this chart from Nordea leads by 3 months. That means that basically GDP will roll over. Now look at the drop in Swedish consumer confidence. That's even a worse drop than when COVID first hit. We see the big hit on GDP. This line will play catch up. Okay. Now, why is the consumer so bearish? Inflation expectations. Look at inflation. Soaring all across the Eurozone. Why? Russia, Ukraine. The Russia-Ukraine conflict has a far bigger impact on Europe than it does on the US. I think the Swedish central bank, the Riksbank, will take the view that the ECB is taking, that you can't raise rates really aggressively when you've got real problems in the economies. They're going to put growth over inflation. Now here is GDP. GDP just came out and it shows the GDP monthly indicator rolling over. There's the annual change. See the annual change down. Basically, Swedish GDP has disappointed. Now, in terms of a lot of people saying, well, the Russia-Ukraine crisis could be solved. This is a great summary from T.S. Lombard. You can view this on my Facebook page. But in terms of their view, it's 1 to 2 years away finding a solution. Okay, and at the minute, if the solution was found, which I doubt, what's happened to commodity prices? The West are not going to remove their sanctions, or I'd be very surprised if they did. Commodity prices are going to stay really high. So yes, Sweden doesn't face a good outlook going forward. It is very correlated also with just general global growth, and global growth is slowing. Obviously in Europe, it's really slowing, and that's Sweden's major trading partners. Obviously, SEK to a degree is correlated with the euro. I'm just showing you a chart of euro USD. Let me just make it slightly bigger. Okay, there we go. Euro, after a rally, and the Swedish krona, we're going looking at, had a similar type of rally, falling. Okay, if we break this level here, then we're off, in our view, to 105. Okay, so euro breaks down, that will weigh on the SEK as well. Right, now let's take a look at USD, SEK, and the key technical levels. Right, on USD, SEK, I'll draw my levels in a moment, but just in terms of how this chart has evolved, you get a big push up here on the Ukraine crisis in terms of USD moving sharply higher. We then become overbought, and then we fall back on optimism about a Ukraine ceasefire. Then we kind of travel sideways above the 940 level with a few tail pokes through. Then you get a hawkish Riksbank, when the market sees a hawkish Riksbank, dollar falls, follows through, and now we've recovered back above 940. Now, in terms of last couple of days, just two small candles, probably waiting on the Fed minutes later today, which give us clues to what the Fed might do going forward. They will be hawkish, just a question of how hawkish. The market expects 7 hikes. Is that discounted? I personally think yes. I think you need to look for balance sheet reduction, removal of stimulus. That is heavily bullish for the USD because it's tightening financial conditions, removing dollars from the system. Now, in terms of how quickly are the Fed going to basically run down the balance sheet, how aggressively, we get a little bit of a clue yesterday. Lael Brainard, influential Fed member, said central bank could start reducing its balance sheet as soon as next month, obviously in response to high inflation. We'll get more clues from the Fed minutes, but that is heavily bullish for the USD if it comes quickly, the balance sheet reduction, and it is aggressive. Okay, now in terms of playing this trade, on an upside breakout, I would look for these 4 bodies here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies. Okay, there's a couple of tails there as well, but that is a good level of resistance. If we can break above it, we'd be looking for follow through to the upside. Where would you put your stop? My own view is just draw a level in. Okay, so that, and then I think here. So just back behind the 940 level. Breakout higher should hopefully follow through quickly. Now, where could we follow through to? I think here. So basically these bodies, the tail, the bodies and the tail over here, and then maybe even a run back up to the 10 level. Break higher, you can look for immediate follow through. If you don't get immediate follow through, you can always freeze the trade or just take it out. If we do get a nice blue going through, it should follow through, then you can trail the stop up. Now, of course, the USD might fall back on the krona. If it were to fall back, we would be looking to buy at a lower level and key off these candles here, which would be really good support. But if we fall lower, I'll cover that in another video. But here, looking for an upside breakout. So we'll see what happens, but that is the video for now. Thanks for watching it. Take care. Have a good day.